Spirit Walker Chapter 4. It's quite a long one, so it's going to be in 2 parts. First part is quite short. The mage's apprentice took an auroch horn ladle and scooped hot ash from the fire. She poured it, still smoking, into her naked palm. Torak gasped. The apprentice didn't even wince. At her feet, Oslak clawed the dust, but the bindings held fast. He was strapped to a horse-hide litter, awaiting the final charm. Bera had already undergone it and was back in the sickness shelter, screaming, sicker than ever. The Raven Mage and her apprentice had tried everything. The mage had daubed the sick one's tongues with earth blood to draw out the madness. She had tied fish hooks to her fingers and gone into a trance to snare their drifting souls. She'd shrouded them in juniper smoke to chase away the worms of sickness. Nothing had worked. Now a hush fell on the ravens as she prepared for the final charm. Firelight flickered on their anxious faces. It was a hot, clear night, with a gibbous moon riding high above the forest. The wind had dropped, but the air was still full of noises. The creak of the smoking racks, the caws of the ravens in the gorge, the roar of the rapids. The mage stepped towards the litter, her bony arms reaching to the moon. In one hand she gripped her amulet, in the other a red flint arrow. Torak darted a glance at the mage's apprentice, but her face was a blank mask of river clay. She didn't look like Wren any more. "Fire to cleanse the name soul," chanted Saeunn, circling the litter. Wren squatted beside Oslak and trickled hot ash onto his naked feet. He moaned and bit his lips till they bled. "Fire to cleanse the clan soul." Wren poured ash over his heart. "Fire to cleanse the world soul." Wren smeared ash on his forehead. "Burn, sickness, burn." Oslak screamed with fury and spattered the mage with bloody foam. A ripple of dismay ran through the clan. The charm wasn't working. Torak held his breath. Behind him the forest stilled. Even the alders had ceased their fluttering to await the outcome. He watched Saeunn touch the arrow to Oslak's chest, tracing a spiral. "Come, sickness," she croaked, "out of the marrow into the bone, out of the bone into the flesh." Suddenly, Torak clutched his belly in pain. As the mage chanted the words, something sharp had twisted inside him. Slowly, she drew the spiral over Oslak's heart. "Out of the flesh into the skin, out of the skin into the arrow." Again that pain, as if her words were tugging at his insides. "Is this the sickness?" he thought. "Is this how it starts?" A firm hand gripped his shoulder. Finkedin stood beside him, watching the mage. "Out of the arrow," cried Saeunn, rising to her feet, "and into the fire." She plunged the arrow into the embers. Green flames shot skywards. Oslak screamed. The ravens hissed. Saeun's arms dropped to her sides. The spell had failed. Torak clutched his belly and fought a wave of blackness. Suddenly, a dark shape flew into the firelight. It was the clan guardian, heading straight for him. He tried to duck, but Finkedin held him steady. Just in time the raven swerved. It was angry. Its clan was under attack. Torak had no idea why it had flown at him. He tried to catch Wren's eye, but she was kneeling by Oslak, peering at the marks he'd clawed in the dust. Twisting out of Finkedin's grip, Torak ran, between the watchers, out of the camp and into the forest. He reached a moonlit glade and collapsed against an ash tree. The giddiness came again. He doubled up and began to retch. Part 2 coming up.